Okay, so first of all, you need plank. I use waterproof plank. It costs a little bit more, but seems like a smart idea when you're gonna use it outside. So you're gonna need around 15 meters of this, cut into 2-meter planks, and you need 5 of those. You also need 8 of these. That must be long enough to fit over 3 planks this way. You need an assortment of screws. Optional, you may need some rubber. It makes it a bit more wobbly, but also increase the friction so it doesn't glide. So up to you. Skateboard wheels and an old truck, just a shitty one. This is not a necessity, but if you want to make it slightly portable, this is the way to go. And you will need this. Now don't cheap out on this, because then it will just rust over the winter and it will be destroyed the year after. This is stainless steel. It cost quite a lot. This whole thing, everything set me back around $100, which is a lot cheaper than if you build like a finished curb. So anyway, you will also need one of these. A floorboard or plywood will also work. I use a floorboard because I managed to get it for free. You know, if you ask at those construction places, you can usually, you know, go around in their garbage a little bit and get shit for free. Okay, so tools. You're gonna need an electric drill. That's the only necessity, but you're gonna need that. Your life will also be a lot easier if you have an electric screwdriver, as well as an electric sander and an electric saw. Not necessities, but it will make your life a whole lot easier. Also good to have an extra screwdriver, because those machines are, unless you have a very powerful ones, are not really good at pulling it really hard. So good to have one for finishing touch. Now if you went with stainless steel, you can't use regular steel drills. You're gonna need these. Red cobalt is the best way to go. You can buy cheaper stuff like this, but they will break quite quickly. So the expensive ones is the better choice here. Cooling spray for when you drill, not a necessity, but it's good. A pen, something to measure with, and knee pads. Not a necessity, but you're gonna spend some time on your knees here, and it will make it hurt a lot less at the end. So, okay, the first thing we're gonna do is drill the holes. Now we can't just drill the holes, because you need the screws to sink down. So we're gonna start with a small guiding hole, then we're gonna drill a hole for the screw, and then we're gonna use a bigger drill to lower the screw into the metal. And that's my ribs, so I need to take my ribs out of the oven. Okay, so time to drill. So the first time you want to do is attach your steel to some shit wood you have lying around, like this. Okay, so next you need to measure where you want the drilling holes. So yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna put them 1.5 centimeters from the edge. Okay, so we're gonna start by making a guiding hole with the 2mm drill. Then we're gonna use the 4.2 to make the drilling holes, and then we're gonna sink it down using the 8mm. So okay, let's do that. Cooling liquid to reduce the friction. Okay, so we have drilled guiding holes. Okay, so we have drilled guiding holes. Now you can clean this off, but don't use your fingers because those metal shards, they are actually quite fucking sharp, and even the small pieces, they will make you bleed. So don't use your fingers if you want to clean the holes up a little bit. Now, anyway, let's drill with the 4.2. Okay, so now the screws can get through, but if you go like that, you will kill yourself. So what we need to do now is to drill a bigger hole that doesn't go all the way through, so that this sinks down. So okay, let's do that. Last drill. Don't use any pressure here, just let the drill do the work. Super little more. There is all the way through, and we're gonna sandpaper it in the way anyway, so even if the screw would stick up a little bit, that will be gone now. So as you can see, the screw is now inside. And if it's not perfect, as I said, we're gonna sand it in the end anyway, so that will get rid of any inconsistencies. Next, choose your favorite plank. That would be the one with the least branches in places you want to drill, and attach the metal thing to it. Next, you can start setting it up as it should look before starting drilling. Okay, so now that we got our guiding holes, we can remove the metal for now and put the wood together as it should look before we start drilling a few more guiding holes. Okay, so now we just have to screw on the feet, screw on the metal and put on the plyboard, and then we're done. So let's start with putting on the feet. Okay, so we're nearing the end, we just need to assemble. Let's start by screwing on the steel. Okay, so time to put on the plywood. I actually ended up going and buying plywood because the one I got for free was too thick. We use that for something else later. Anyway, let's put on the plywood. Okay, so let's spray paint something cool on the plywood. Shogun is the last word I know that is connected like all the other words I've made up to name all my other stuff. So the Shogun curve this will be. So yeah, let's spray. Okay, so let's put on wheels. This is a little bit more troublesome than when I made it more elevated, since the wheels cannot hit the ground when it lays down. So I have to add a little height at the corner to add the wheels. Anyway, let's do that. Now the last thing we need to do is sandpaper the steel and make sure the screws doesn't stick up anything or something like that. This actually would have been better to do before I put on the plywood and the wheels and everything, but yeah, it will not be a problem. So yeah, let's sand and then we're done. Ooh, it's hot. Let's come back to that when it cools down a bit. Can't touch it and feel like now. Let's sandpaper the rest of this up, and yeah, then we're done. Okay, so the Shogun curb is completed. So let's try it out in the next episode. So yeah, that was all for today. So see you next time, and rock and fucking roll.